Greetings, and welcome to my Star Wars Battlefront II beta review video. In this video, I'll be showing you the different classes you can play as and giving a short description of how I felt they played. This is, of course, just my own personal opinion, so don't take it too literally. The first class is your standard assault class, equipped with a blaster rifle and a thermal detonator grenade as the secondary weapon. It was also equipped with a close-range shotgun that could be utilized by using both of the bumper buttons on your controller. This class to me seemed to be the most balanced, and seemed to be the best class for new players starting out to the Battlefront franchise. It also had a healing ability that would allow you to rapidly regain your health for a short time. Personally, this class was a bit lackluster for me. However, with the healing ability and the shotgun, I can definitely see how it could be used a lot more skillfully than I myself had. However, I did not spend as much time with this class as I did with the other two. The Heavy Trooper seemed to be the most favored throughout the beta, and for good reason. The additional 50 points in health grant increased survivability rates as compared to the Assault class. However, the main selling points of this class are actually its armaments. The rapid fire of the blaster rifle allows you to deal a lot of damage very quickly to enemy infantry. The class is also equipped with a shield that allows it to serve as a walking tank for a limited time. However, the shield doesn't cover the lower leg, so a skilled sniper could get around that very easily. Perhaps the best trait about this class is the chain gun. While active, the weapon doesn't overheat, allowing the player to tear through groups of enemies with ease, which is very suitable for defending objectives. However, your movement is very limited, so use this ability with caution. My most played class was the Specialist, sniping from a distance. This class was best suited to my particular type of playstyle, as I've always enjoyed sniping in shooter games. This also prevented me from playing too aggressively, as the class only has 100 health, and is easily whittled down, which would explain why I died so much when I played as this class. The class worked very efficiently for the Assault on Naboo game type, which is where I spent the majority of my time during the beta. The sniper rifle is very efficient and very accurate, and with only just a few pulls of the trigger you can easily take down an enemy at full health. The class is also equipped with a pair of binoculars that I honestly never once used during the beta. The special ability was a scanner that revealed the location of all enemies on your radar. Another weapon that it had was a trip mine that I personally didn't find a whole lot of use out of. However, I did get a star card for a pistol sidearm that is referred to as the Stinger. The weapon had a bleed effect that would deal small amounts of damage over time to the enemies that were hit by it, and I believe it prevented them from regaining their health for a short period of time, although I could be wrong about that last one. The first advanced class is my personal favorite, the Jet Trooper, which was also my favorite during the original Battlefront series made by Pandemic. The jetpack allows you to quickly traverse the battlefield and can be used to evade enemy fire or get yourself out of a bad situation. The class's main weapon is a quick-firing blaster pistol that allows you to score headshots with extreme precision and take down multiple enemies in quick succession. The class is also equipped with a rocket launcher, which is great for taking out groups of enemies or dealing massive damage to enemy heroes. Overall, I think this class has the most unique playstyle. However, that could also be the nostalgia glasses I've been wearing since 2005. In the right hands, I believe this class could be as good as any of the hero characters, so if you see them on the battlefield, don't take them lightly, and take them out as quick as possible. The other advanced class for the Republic was the Wookiee Warrior, standing at 300 health. They could easily take more of a beating than the other infantry class. The Bowcaster did significant damage to infantry, and if you held the trigger down, it would charge up and fire a more powerful shot. I didn't really have a lot of time to play around with the other abilities, as I was usually playing as a Jet Trooper more often than not. I wouldn't count the Wookiee Warrior out though, as he is the tankiest out of all the infantry class. Up next is the B-2 rocket droid for the Separatist Army. Much like the clone Jet Trooper, it has a jetpack that allows it to fly across distances as well as evade enemy fire. It also has the wrist rocket to replace the rocket launcher that the clone trooper has, doing the same amount of damage. This is almost a carbon copy of the Jet Trooper class for the Republic, having the same abilities and the The final advanced class is the Super Battle Droid for the Separatist Army. Like the Wookiee Warrior, this class had a total of 300 health. The class's blaster weapon was a bit stronger than standard infantry, and it was also equipped with a wrist rocket similar to the B-2 Rocket Droid Advanced class. It was also equipped with a cooling cell ability which would allow you to fire your weapon without it overheating for a short period of time. The class's main ability fired twin blaster bolts in rapid succession that did absurd amounts of damage to enemy infantry. This was probably the biggest selling point of the Super Battle Droid, as it did huge amounts of damage even to enemy heroes. So the only vehicle that we actually played as was the Naboo Starfighter from the Phantom Menace, which honestly is one of my favorite ships. The design is sleek, it's fast, it was actually a little hard to control in the game, but nonetheless it was fun. We got a couple kills with it on enemy fighters, but really, outside of a Starfighter type mode, I don't see it being worth using, just because you go so fast you can't really shoot at enemy infantry unless you're just taking blind potshots and hoping to hit something. Now, it did do decent damage to the droid MTT, but again, you were going so fast you couldn't really even use your double bumper attack to do a whole lot of damage to it. It was fun to fly around and play as it, but like I said, it really didn't have a whole lot of benefit to the overall success of the mission outside of damaging the transport. One cool thing was using your left bumper to have your R2 unit repair your ship mid-flight. Now on to the heroes. The first one being Han Solo, which is probably one of my favorites to play during the beta. His blaster pistol was really powerful, and you could fire it so fast it was almost unfair. His thermal charge weapon did a decent amount of damage, however I didn't find it as useful as some of the other classes with their thermal detonators. Sticking one of the charges to the wall seemed like a good strategy to cut off choke points to certain objectives, but in my opinion it just didn't fit a hero class. He has what appears to be an evasion ability by using the right bumper, however I never actually noticed it during the gameplay, and so I myself never used it. My favorite ability by far was his double bumper ability, which allowed the weapon to fire at an insanely high rate, dealing massive amounts of damage without the weapon overheating. This ability alone made Han Solo one of my favorite hero characters to play, and I can see myself using him a lot more often during the actual game. The second hero was the new Jedi Rey, which we had a little bit of a chance to play as. We went a little aggressive with her, so we didn't get as long to play as her as we did with Han Solo. However, we did get to test out all of her abilities. I did not like the dash forward. I felt it left you too vulnerable and didn't offer enough to be used outside of certain scenarios. Her second ability allows you to momentarily stun enemy units within the area, allowing you to make up for some of her defensive shortcomings. Her final ability allowed you to see nearby enemy units through walls. This was a very useful ability that allowed you to get the drop on enemies before they were aware of your presence. Overall, Rey's abilities had some very nice utility, but when I play as a Jedi, I find myself playing way too aggressively to fully utilize them. Darth Maul, on the other hand, was specifically built for an aggressive playstyle, as he doesn't even have the ability to reflect blaster bolts. His saber swing has a much wider range compared to Rey's with a double-bladed lightsaber. One of his abilities allows him to dash forward while violently swinging his lightsaber around. This ability can be particularly devastating in the enclosed area of the throne room on Theed. His second ability allows him to throw his lightsaber, which we didn't have enough time to play as him to really get a chance to use it. While his third ability allows him to lift an enemy infantry unit in the air and momentarily disarm him. However, this can leave you very vulnerable if you are outnumbered. My favorite character by far had to have been Boba Fett, with his signature jetpack. His blaster rifle was devastatingly powerful, despite not having the ability to aim down sights. His first ability was a concussion rocket that momentarily stunned all enemies caught in the blast. His second ability was a rocket barrage that had an AoE effect on all enemies in the area, dealing massive amounts of damage to enemy infantry. His third ability reveals all enemies around him for a short period of time. During this time, Boba Fett disappears from enemy radars, and he has unlimited jetpack fuel. Overall, I feel Boba Fett was the best of the 4 hero classes that were playable during the beta. However, I think in the right hands, any of the 4 heroes could be used to completely devastate the enemy team. I'm really looking forward to seeing if they add other classic heroes to the game, such as Jango Fett or Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this has been my review of the Star Wars Battlefront II beta. I had a lot of fun playing it. It was much, much better than the original Battlefront game released by DICE a year ago. I would have liked a little more time to get more familiar with some of the classes and their abilities, but overall I was much more impressed with this game than the first one. If you yourself had a chance to play the beta, let me know in the comments below which class you felt was the best, and which hero character you enjoyed playing the most. Well, thanks for watching my review of the Star Wars Battlefront II beta, and we'll see you guys in the next one.